I have a theory. I have a theory. And it's not a happy theory. Um, I really have to find that book. I put it somewhere where I know I'll find it when I need it, and then I forgot where I put it. But it was talking about the land anterior to America, anterior being before, and all that other stuff. And the author, who was a colonizer, had sent a letter to the king, the queen of England, begging them not to allow the Spaniards and the Europeans who had come over to the Americas, not to allow them to do what they had wanted to do. And in that book, our ancestors were described as like the most hospitable, like they were describing us. They came over here with Bibles to try and teach us how to be holy, but what they found was that we were already living in righteous paths. And so I'm gonna have to find that book. I have to find it. Um, but what I want to say with that is this, and it's a sad, the slave trade from Africa to the Americas. It did take place. However, the most of the Africans that came through that slave trade were they landed in the Caribbean, and South America, those islands and stuff down there, and only about less than 400,000 Africans were enslaved here in the United States of America. There are books that show that. Find them. um, so that means that we were already here when they got here. They knew we were here. They knew that we were here from a long time ago. They came looking for us. So they knew we were here. They came with the sole purpose of doing exactly what they did. And that was their goal when they got here. Now, this is the part that I really want, like us as Black, Indigenous, Salon Americans to remember. We here in the United States got replaced. Our identities got replaced by the $5 Indians. There is also, like if you look in the archives, you will see where they were hired. Those $5 energies, $5 Indians were hired to dress in our garb and to present themselves as us. But what happened to the indigenous Indians of Mexico? What happened to the indigenous Indians of the Caribbean and all that other stuff? Well, what these books describe is that unfortunately, most of those people were completely like eradicated off the face of the earth. They were killed by the Spaniards and Columbus and his whole crew. Their bodies were eaten. We know that. It's in the books. They were eaten. They were killed off. And the book that I was reading, The Anterior to the Americas, it said that there were so many, like in in Cuba, I believe, like they had killed off like so many of them. Like there were about, I think it said like maybe about a million, maybe 2-3 million, but within a couple of years, all of those people were gone. They were either killed off by disease or smallpox and all that other stuff, and a lot of them were eaten. And so what we have now is, the people of the Caribbean, they needed slaves, so they brought the enslaved from Africa and landed in the Caribbean, um, and all the lands below us, where we are, all the lands below us, below the United States of America. So those people are African Caribbeans. Those lands were almost completely replaced. The people, our cousins that lived down there, because we were all one people, we all lived differently. They described the North American Indians and how they lived separately, from the Mexican Indians, from the Canadian Indians, and then so far, down to the rest of the Americas. We were all one race of natives in this country. We were originals to the Americas. But from what I understand and what I'm coming up with now is that we were the only ones that survived that. And, excuse me, I really need us to understand this and process that. We were the only ones that survived. Us Black Solon Indigenous Americans here in North America. Now, there were some in the Caribbean that kind of ran through. There were also some of our strongest warriors here in America during the Seminole Wars and all that other stuff. Like when we started becoming prisoners of war, they sent some of our strongest warriors down to the Caribbean as slaves. But what I'm thinking is that most of those people down there, within the Caribbean below North America, they were almost completely wiped out off the planet. And we are the remnant. We are literally the remnant. And so, we sit here and we wonder, how can the Caribbeans, act like this about us? How can they talk? They talk just like the Africans talk. They act just like the Africans act. Well, that's because they are those from over there, and we are us from over here. So, yeah, they really are not like us. I'm not saying that in a discriminatory way or anything like that, but all I'm saying is based off of what I have read, the books that I have read, we are the last ones. We are the remnant. And so it's hard, when we see people like the people in that lady from Haiti saying, "Oh, the dirty Black Americans," or the lady in Jamaica wanting to sacrifice us to whatever god that in her movie, the Africans wanting to strap a bomb to herself and gathering us all. They're trying to get rid of the last of the remnant. And like our people here in North America, the books say that we were so interconnected. We were so interconnected that it took over 250 years to defeat us. That's how hard our ancestors fought. And I think it's kind of coming through with us now. It makes sense. I've been saying to myself lately, like, this is why they don't want more than a few of us in one area at a time. This is why, like if we have an all Black choir, you got to see that one white face there, or, like in their eyes, we can't allow them to have anything to themselves because, that's why, the Black Panthers were infiltrated by spies. That's why all of our groups are infiltrated by spies, because they know that if we were to join together and just completely stick together, there would be nothing that they could do. It took 7 countries to defeat us. It took 7 countries and some powerful ass witchcraft. And so with that understanding and with that knowledge and understanding, now we move forward with the Most High on our side, because this time God is only favoring us. I took that to heart when Mr. Lamar said that during the Super Bowl. This time, God is only favoring us. But yeah, we are the remnant. We're the remnant.